Hello and welcome back to Idle Kingdom Defense. So this is a Total War update. This is specific to what artifacts are good and what artifacts to level. So I had made a mistake in my previous ones, and I'm going to focus on how to correct that. So if you are doing the artifact system, first, there's one awakening that matters, and that is heads and tails above everything, and that is crit damage. No other awakening matters. You need to make sure that whoever is your main DPS has crit damage on both the ring, and in this case, I'm using Christian, so for him it's a ring and an orb. Okay, if you were using a warrior, and I don't have a key right now, but if you were using a warrior, it would be an amulet and a key. And so we're going to go into why those are so important. So again, we'll go to Christian. And again, we're going to pretend this is 100%. Just bear with me. We're going to pretend that his attack... Oh, really? Okay, that's weird. We're going to pretend his attack is 1 million base. This enhances it 100%. And that this, on top of that, is another 100%. I'm not there yet. We'll get there eventually. So what this means is his basic attack is doing 2.1 million damage. We're going to round down to 2 million. If this enhances it by 100%, that means his fuselage is now 4 million base attack. So they multiply off each other. On top of that, this is 24x that. So if you take 2 million, this is base attack damage. His special attack is 4 million. This is 25x, or sorry, this is 24x, because it's 5 attacks at 480%. 24 times as strong, so that puts it at 96 million. Then for crit damage, and he has 80.8, he has 860 crit damage. That means, and you basically always crit. If you didn't always crit, we'd have crit on here. That means that when he crits with this attack, the buff from this is going to be 86% more damage. So from artifacts alone, and well, artifacts, it's a little fuzzy, but I can probably do an artifacts alone, but hopefully this illustrates the point well enough just by looking at the damage. So normally it would just be 24. That's it, 24. Because you do have 1 million attack times 24 million. So with artifacts, that 1 million is doubled to 2 million, then doubled to 4 million, then 24x to 96 million, and then finally we have 96 million times 1.86 to get up to 178 million. So that's why it's so important that you, and again, you can do this with a warrior as well. I went with Christian because he has baseline AoE. With baseline AoE, because of this ability, he is my number one damage, and I feel like increasing Christian's strength will help speed up the game for him. That's the biggest reason why I'm working on Christian. I feel like pumping this is going to make King's runs faster, and that's the bottom line. Now again, obviously with this only being 12%, and this basically being 19%, I have a long ways to go. But because I have crit damage on both of these, if I get good awakenings that give me a lot of extra crit damage, we'll be wrecking face. Now, so the one issue with supports is if I buff Christian up and he gets super strong, and let's say I get a awesome 4-star and 4-star ring. If I pass this on to Austin, because again, if you get a 4-star ring with crit damage, so it would kind of be a bit of a balancing act, because you aren't going to get as many 4-star rings, and you aren't going to get as many 4-star orbs. It's a bit of a balancing act there. So, I mean, that's just something to keep in mind. But, you'll kind of have to figure out which one ends up winning. And again, I would favor leveling, of course, the 5 stars over the 4 stars, but you might not get enough of the material to awaken them, so it's going to kind of depend. But with those two, 100%, one's Christian, one's Austin. Now, of course, the issue is runes. So, again, if you want to be a warrior main, perfectly fine. I would recommend Roderick. He has, even though the Viking chick hits from both directions, I think Roderick has a bigger AoE. I mean, really, it's either one. Either one of these is a good choice. I think more people on the Discord favor Roderick because of the way his AoE works. I don't know that it's better. I mean, the Viking chick could be better. I just haven't seen anybody on the Discord user. I mean, I'm, of course, not in the business. I decided to be a Christian main because, again, I feel like Christian, he is the one that I want to pump because he's going to help me speed up stages the most. He is not as good he's not as good all around as pumping up a warrior main, and I'm going to explain why. And that has to do with aggro, right? So if you pump a warrior main up, they're going to be able to kill their target and run around and aggro more things. Where Christian, all you can do with him is, if I get his fuselage up really, really high, I can hopefully use it to attack the things attacking my tower. But that becomes a manual thing. If you have super strong warriors, it's all automatic. They're going to kill what they're attacking. That's the big thing to remember here. Then they're going to move to another target and hopefully kill that too. So that's your two choices there. Again, I went with Christian because I feel like buffing Christian will dramatically improve my stage clear times. And again, if I get this up to, let's say, 100, and this up to 100, and now we're looking at, okay, they're 100, 100, they're both, I don't remember how much these go up by per level. Oh, it goes up by 8% or 9%. So, at 100, 100, I think they have some base amount. They're both about 100% at that point. Then I might say, you know what? Maybe I'll buff a warrior up to. I would say you're not really. I mean, again, you're losing stuff in terms of, I need to work on. I'll be able to get all of Christian's runes up. I'm already working on his crit damage. Runing a hero is a slow process. But again, once I max out Christian's runes, I mean, again, and Sophie's runes. I'm also working on Sophie's runes. We're both, because again, Sophie's the only one that can heal. So, and that's why she has this beefy ring here too. This beefy ring here isn't just for show. This is, Sophia. But again, once I get to that point, I'm going to be choosing a warrior, and I really did want to do Austin. I might actually do Austin first. And the reason I would do Austin over the Viking chick is just because, if I got another really good set of rings and amulets, I would want to give this to Austin, and Austin benefits tremendously from runes. Then after Austin, then I would probably continue working on the Viking chick's runes. But that's how it works now. So you're going to pick one character. He's going to be your DPS character, and in terms of ranking, I'm not going to really compare warriors and support directly. They both have their own benefits. But for supports, you're looking at Christian. For warriors, you're looking at, probably, even Daniel is in the running, because remember, Daniel does tremendous single target damage. So you're looking at the Viking chick. You're looking at Roderick. You're looking at Daniel. Maybe Thor. I think Thor. I mean, we'd have to look at everybody, because I don't think their attack is that high. So the highest one is Brian, and you would never do Brian. Brian would never, no. Daniel. So again, if you're looking at Daniel, you would pump him up. But Daniel's kind of a special case, because he doesn't have an active ability, so you'd only pump up a huge amulet for him. Anyone else, you'd be looking at pumping up an amulet and a key. And again, it'd be probably either the Viking chick. I mean, I imagine there can't be too much of a difference between the Viking chick and Roderick. Roderick starts out with an advantage because he does have crit damage. This extra crit damage. Eventually, at high enough levels of crit damage, this becomes less and less relevant. So that's sort of the update. You want to have a ring or an amulet and an orb or a key, and I wasn't very clear on this when we started. But once you get a good pair, and they have to have crit damage. The Awakening they have to have 100%. Now, if you put in the comments that says, "Hey, I have a level 30 ring, amulet, whatever, it doesn't have crit damage on it. Should I keep leveling it?" No. I know it's tedious. You're going to have to re-roll one until you get crit damage. That's the bottom line. You have to have crit damage. There's no exception. It is such a big damage multiplier. You have to have crit damage on your ring. You have to have it on your amulet. Or ring or amulet. You can't use a ring and an amulet on the same person. If you have a support hero, it's going to be a ring and an orb. They both have to have crit damage. And if you have a warrior, it has to be a key and an amulet, and they both have to have crit damage. No exceptions. That's just what you want. The only exception would be if you said, my warrior is going to be Daniel. If your warrior is going to be Daniel, you can slap him you can slap a level 12 book on him, and give him just an amulet. But I would not recommend. I would not recommend that. I mean, Daniel, and again, the advantage of warriors is ancestry, right? So if you got a monster 12 and 12, and then you get an amazing 5-star amulet and ring. Amulet and key. You would hand down your 4-star amulet and key. You could hand that down to Roderick. So, and again, you have to follow this through. So if you pick a warrior and it's going to be the Viking chick, you have to rune her. Very important. You have to focus on her runes. So if that means, if you were following me and runing like Sophia and Christian, you have to, again, I would recommend finishing up Sophia's runes, just because once you finish up Sophia's runes, that's it for Sophia. But then you're going to come back and you're going to work on the Viking chick. That means you're going to level the Viking chick above everybody else. That means you're going to rune the Viking chick before anybody else. That means you're going to get all of the Viking chick's runes that matter, which are attack and crit damage, 2 plus 12. And get them to S rank. And only then, when you have plus 12 and S rank, are you going to move on to somebody else. Very key, because you're basically putting all your eggs in one basket. And that's the way the artifact system truly works. And again, we can debate on how good that is. That's a great question for the comments. Do I think it's the best system in terms of the heroes? I would say no. Because, again, we're focusing on one hero exclusively over all others. Again, the good thing with the artifacts is if they introduced another hero that was like a super AoE Christian, we could just take the artifacts off of Christian, put them on the new guy, and then basically say, okay, well, now we need to rune the new guy. The rune system is really the bottleneck here. So, that said, once again, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. If you have any questions, and I'm sure this is going to be controversial, please say something in the comments. And as always, thank you again, and I hope you have a great day.